Others can be a big hindrance to your success. Edison kept trying regardless of what others said. His success shows us to never quit. You can't listen to what others say if they are stating how hard it will be. If you do, you may quit right before the victory. I had everyone telling me what to do, but as I look back, only a few people had good advice. In some of the following chapters, we will discuss how to choose the right people to listen to. The story of Dennis Bird is a remarkable one. I would suggest that you read his book, Rise and Walk. His story is one of triumph because he would not quit. Bird was a professional football player who during a football game was tackled and was left with a broken neck. He had no movement from his neck down. At a very young age, Bird was left paralyzed. I look at his situation and realize that the problems in my life are in no comparison to the magnitude of his. In a moment, his life was drastically changed. The unexpected can happen in a moment. One instant, we are just going along with the flow, and the next instant something happens that we never expected. This is what happened to Bird. When all of the smoke cleared, Bird had to make a decision. The same one we all do when it gets tough. Any time we are in a pit, there comes a time when we must decide, do I stand or do I quit? Probably most in this situation would quit, but Bird decided to stand. He decided to not quit and to beat the odds. Bird had a lot of work in front of him. He had to undergo rehab daily with a prognosis that was uncertain. Most believed that he would never walk again, but Bird believed that he would. With time and perseverance, he did. Bird ended up receiving the victory. He then went on to write the book, Rise and Walk. You see, you must never ever quit. If he had quit, he would still be in the position of not being able to walk. Bird never quit. He kept going. The reward was walking. But as I read his book, I felt that his reward was so much more than that. What you learn about yourself and what you see in others around you when you go through the pit can be eye-opening. You can really learn what life is about. I believe that Dennis obtained more while going through his pit than being able to walk again. And if he had quit, no one would have had the benefit of reading his book and letting it influence their life. We can always say that it can't be done. If we say it can't be done, then we are right. It can't. However, people like Dennis Bird show us that through all difficulties, we can have victory. If you are feeling like quitting now, don't do it. You can overcome. You can make it. First, you must decide not to quit. Gary Bertier was a high school football player. You may have seen his story along with the stories of many others in the movie Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans is a movie based in the early 1970s at a Northern Virginia high school. The school faced the challenge of integration. The movie starts with the integration of the school's football team prior to the start of school. It tells the story of how one coach changed the lives of so many football players by changing their attitudes and by teaching them the benefits of coming together instead of staying separated by color. This is a movie that if you have not seen, you need to. It is filled with their life stories. It shows how one town beat the odds of racism and how blacks and whites came together. It is a story we can all learn from. Defeating the racism on the team allowed them to go all the way and win the championship regardless of the racism in their community. But after the last game before the championship, Gary was out celebrating in his car. While not paying attention going through an intersection, he was hit in the side by another car. Gary was taken to the hospital. Both my sons play football, and I understand the closeness there can be in a football team. You could see this depicted in the movie as the players gathered at the hospital to wait on a report of Gary's condition. Gary ended up being paralyzed from the waist down. This was the same as Dennis Bird. One traumatic experience changed his life. Gary could have just sat daily feeling sorry for his condition, but as you viewed the movie, Gary did not do that at all. He was immediately talking about wheelchair Olympics. He would not quit. And guess what? He did participate in the wheelchair Olympics and had success. Before you continue the following chapters, make sure that you can make the decision to never quit, no matter what. If Dennis Bird and Gary Bertier can do it in their circumstances, then you can too. Plant it in your head and store it in your heart. You will never quit. It does not matter what the pit is or how long it will take. What people say isn't even a factor anymore. Stop focusing on those things. Once you have done that, you are on the way out of that pit you have been living in.